you, what is the future of these drugs?
Oh, extreme. These drugs are getting more and more extreme. There's some coming out now where it's 1 month for the shot. Okay. It lasts 1 month.
Right.
There's even some coming out that are in trials now that last 5 months. So
Wow.
think about the amount of nutrient deficiency, muscle loss that can occur over the course of 5 months. Never mind 1 month, never mind 1 week.
Now, I would imagine that they have to really monitor who gets access to that because if it's somebody like me, I'm 112 pounds, somebody who's nuts in their head and thinks that they want 5 months of this, that could almost kill them, right? I mean, as opposed to somebody who's 200 pounds.
Right, right. And you're going to look at this differently for each individual, but I don't think that they're intended for people your size.
Right.
They're intended for those who have maybe less self-control. I mean, that's
Hmm.
at least where it should be. And, looking at this from just a time frame, I can't imagine going 1 month without food or not wanting to eat for 1 month.
Right.
And a lot of the people, when you take it, they don't have much of an appetite, so they just move their food around. They pick. You've experienced it firsthand. But
Hmm.
then there's other things that occur. I mean, when you don't eat much food and your body is slowly processing what you put in, you can put yourself into a state of gastroparesis, and that's when there's failure in your intestinal system. That's
Wow.
also a very significant problem with these products, especially for those who eat very small amounts and they're not taking care of themselves. I mean, they can definitely go right into that state, which is
Wow.
very dangerous.
I mean, for me personally, my side effect when I don't eat for a while is I get nauseous. I mean, so I almost feel like even if I am taking those drugs, I have to eat something. Otherwise, I feel sick.
Yeah, well, feeling sick is because when they go in, your body has a lot of receptors in the gastrointestinal system,
Hmm.
and they may just be an over. When you're taking the product, it's just how should I say it? Just it's too much at one time. It's overload.
Right.
That's
Got
really
it.
what you're experiencing. And
Okay.
by the way, anytime you're eating food, I mean, you're triggering more. So if you think about it, your body is then triggering more GLP-1. So how much do you actually want in your system if you're on those products too? So
Right. Okay. So wait, go back to the conversation about food a little more. So what are the foods you said proteins that are
proteins
better
are
for you that
very
trigger
so proteins trigger these little cells in your gastrointestinal system. They're triggering, and as you break it down, the amino acids they have an interaction with this L cell, and it then creates just think about it, then just secreting the hormone in this case, but it secretes a liquid. That
this?
liquid is the GLP-1 in this case, and it's going to interact in your gastrointestinal system, and it
Hmm.
interacts and slows down the food going through. And that is how we're supposed to do it. But the problem is that a lot of the foods that people eat, say they're having a bologna sandwich, I'm just using this as an example, pepperoni pizza, that food has been cooked so greatly that those reactions don't occur like they should with a less processed food. Okay,
Hmm.
so if you're cooking a piece of meat, say cooking steak or you're cooking chicken or some fish, when you're full from eating this and your body is telling you, hey, no more, I can't take any more. That's a
Right.
natural hormonal reaction to the food. And that should be occurring. But that does not occur if you're sitting around eating cookies, cake, and whatever else you may have in your
I
house.
see what you're saying. Yeah. Okay, wait, let's go back to the day in the life. I want to hear what you eat all day long.
Oh, so I'm really bad. Okay. So in the morning, I will actually I have a cup of coffee and then I will then transition to having a little bit of tuna fish in the morning. I'll just eat straight tuna fish just out of a packet and then I'll pop my pills and then I'm good until dinner time and then I'll have a small dinner.
And
So
what do you eat for dinner?
oh, I'll eat just about anything. It's just that I'm pretty much at that point. I'm not going. I have proteins, I have greens, and I have, vegetables. I actually like greens and like salads, and I like protein. I don't eat a lot of sweets. And, that's kind of my.
If you want a snack, did you make a
I don't
bar
snack.
that's a
One of
snack?
the things is that when you eliminate the food noise, this is really important too. Okay. So when part of this is all about eliminating food noise, when you don't want to think about food during the day, a lot of people think about it all day long. They can't wait and they plan dinner, they plan their snacks, they plan where they're going to go get their lunch. This type of product, when you actually have the true reaction, you won't be thinking about food. You should be eliminating that natural food anxiety.
Mm.
And by the way, this is an old occurrence. It's been happening from the beginning of time. I mean, there's always people who think about food. And so years ago, I got into this in a very interesting way. I don't mean to go off tangentially, but
No, I love it. Keep going.
but one of the things I did a long time ago, I was studying psychoactives. I was studying all these plants. I was very into learning about things of the past, and I was doing what was called anthropological biochemistry. I mean, it's, not for everybody, but it's where
Very sexy stuff.
yeah, but I went back, I would study what ancient tribes would do, and I discovered all these things and I bought all these old books to study every component of it. I got all the products and I was working with them, and I thought everybody was getting high. And I thought that's what they were all doing because there's all these psychoactive elements to it. And then, like there's tribes in South Africa called the Hottentots, which lived on this one particular, they didn't live on it. They took it every day. It was this product called Solidium tortoisum. It's a little cactus that they would beat up, ferment. They put it in their mouth like your friends do, and they keep it in between their lip and their teeth all day long. And in the nighttime, they would take it out and they'd make tea out of it. And the next day they would smoke it. And I thought it was all about getting high, but it wasn't. It was all about not thinking about food. And I learned that a lot of these products trigger a reaction that's necessary, and that's the elimination of food anxiety. A lot of people have stress and anxiety and they create it, through different things, but a lot of it is associated with food. And so when you eliminate that anxiety component, you actually eliminate a lot of the thought process around food also. And so I incorporate that into my products. It's very important to eliminate the thought of food. It's important to eliminate that food anxiety and food noise. So my whole thing is not just about triggering the GLP-1s, but it's also about eliminating anxiety. And that's one of the key attributes I believe we should see going forward. Now, we talk about all these things, the shots that you take don't eliminate anxiety. Mm-hmm. Don't be surprised in the future, they start taking this and they start doing these dual compounds because that's what the pharma industry does. I am very focused on the non-RX version of things, things that have minimal, if any, side effect. Side effect could be losing weight, but it has no side effect is the key to me going forward. And that's where I remain focused. And that's the sort of entities I like to build.
So, all right. This is fascinating. So what other products do you have? I feel like now that I've heard all this stuff, people are listening are going to be like, wait, what can we buy?
Well,
and hold on. I just want to say one thing. It's very interesting that you talk about the mental component of it because people have completely eliminated that almost from the conversation. It's just about the weight. It's not about what's causing the weight. It's not about the anxiety around the food. So that is very interesting that you do need something to help with what's going on in your mind.
Well, to be successful long term, I think we have to address all of it. And if you look, a lot of these, okay, so when you get into this GLP-1 RA, it's a receptor agonist, is what they really are. They talk about how it attaches in the body. A lot of those receptors also have anxiety associated with it. It makes sense because it's natural for the human to then have anxiety around food or not to have anxiety around food. And I personally found that be a really critical component to be able to make people successful long-term in weight loss, long-term in health, and longevity. It's all about doing it correctly. It's not about just a shortcut. Those shots, they've done a great job in controlling weight. They are meant for people who are significantly overweight. They're not meant for you. There's better ways for you to maintain your figure and do it forever. Okay.
And it seems like you have those products. So let's hear all about them.
That's a big focus of mine. It's, working with people significantly overweight is a lot harder. They need better discipline than perhaps what I can provide to them. And I've learned that over time. I'm better suited to work with people such as yourself and your friends and be able to maintain the figure long term, as well as increase your health span.
And do some of your products address sort of anti-aging or getting the working from within to help the glow. I don't know, all that stuff they talk
All
about.
beauty from within. It's the same. Yes, exactly. It's all part of the program.
All right,
Being
what do you
able to
got?
have, being able to be skinnier and have good skin, less wrinkles. That's if you're doing it correctly, you'll have less inflammation, and that's what we try to trigger, and that's what we try to go for.